Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with me today. You know, I've been getting so many messages from you asking about Social Security updates. And let me tell you something, I have some really important news to share with you today. If you're a senior, or if you have parents or grandparents who depend on Social Security, this video could change everything for you. We're talking about potential relief that could be coming as soon as August 2025. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into what's happening in Washington that could put more money in your pocket. Here's what's got everyone talking. The Senate is taking another serious look at Social Security reforms, and this time, it's different. Let me paint you a picture. Right now, millions of seniors are struggling to make ends meet. The average Social Security check is about $1,900 a month. That might sound okay, but when you break it down, it's only about $63 a day to cover everything: food, medicine, housing, utilities. Everything. Now here's where it gets interesting. There are three major proposals being discussed in the Senate right now, and all three could mean real money in your pocket. First, there's the cost of living adjustment enhancement. You know how you get that small COLA increase each year? Well, senators are talking about making those increases bigger and more frequent. Instead of waiting a whole year for an adjustment, some are proposing quarterly reviews. That means if prices go up fast, like they have been, your benefits could adjust faster too. Second, we have the Social Security 2100 Act. This is a big one, folks. This act would increase benefits across the board. We're talking about an immediate 2% increase for all current beneficiaries. That might not sound like much, but for someone getting $1,900 a month, that's an extra $38 every single month. That's $456 more per year. Third, there's talk about changing how we calculate benefits altogether. Right now, your Social Security is based on your highest 35 years of earnings. Some senators want to change this to your highest 30 years. Why does this matter? Because it could mean higher monthly payments for millions of people. But here's the thing, and I want to be completely honest with you. None of this is guaranteed yet. These are proposals being seriously discussed. The difference this time is that we have bipartisan support. That means both Democrats and Republicans are talking about this. Senator Bernie Sanders recently said, "We cannot continue to ignore the retirement crisis facing our seniors." And you know what? Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican, agreed with him. When you have senators from both parties agreeing, things tend to move forward. Let me share some numbers that really tell the story of why this matters so much. According to the Social Security Administration, 67 million Americans receive Social Security benefits. That's about 1 in 5 Americans. Among seniors 65 and older, Social Security provides at least 50% of their income for 6 out of 10 people. For 1 in 3 seniors, Social Security is 90% or more of their income. Think about that for a moment. Imagine trying to live on $1,900 a month when everything keeps getting more expensive. Here's another number that might surprise you. The average senior spends about $1,986 per month on basic expenses. That includes housing, food, healthcare, and transportation. Notice something? That's more than the average Social Security check. But here's some good news. If these reforms pass, we could see real changes. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that the proposed changes could increase the average monthly benefit by anywhere from $75 to $200 per month. For many seniors, that could be the difference between choosing between medicine and groceries. You might be wondering, why August 2025? Why that specific date? Well, let me explain. The Senate has a very specific timeline they're working with. The current legislative session runs through the end of 2025. But here's the key. Any major Social Security reform needs time to be implemented. The Social Security Administration needs at least 6 months to update their systems and processes. So if Congress wants to see changes take effect before the end of 2025, they need to pass legislation by late spring or early summer. August 2025 keeps coming up because that's when the next round of COLA adjustments would normally be calculated. If reforms pass before then, they could be included in that calculation. Senator Chuck Grassley, who chairs the Senate Finance Committee, recently said they're aiming for a vote before the August recess. That gives them a clear deadline to work toward. I want to share a story that really brings this home. I received an email from Margaret in Ohio. She's 72 years old, and her Social Security check is $1,650 a month. After paying for her small apartment, utilities, and basic groceries, she has about $200 left for everything else, including her medications. Margaret told me she hasn't been to a restaurant in over 2 years. She shops for clothes at thrift stores. And sometimes she has to choose between filling all her prescriptions or buying enough food for the month. Margaret's story isn't unique. I hear from people like her every single day. And this is exactly why these Senate discussions matter so much. If the proposed 2% increase passes, Margaret would see an extra $33 per month. That might not sound like much to some people, but for Margaret, that's a week's worth of groceries. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me, what would an extra $50 or $100 per month mean for you or your loved ones? Would it help with groceries, medicine, maybe finally getting that car repair you've been putting off? I read every single comment, and your stories help me understand what topics to cover next. So please, take a moment and share your thoughts below. I know some of you are thinking, this all sounds great, but what can I actually do to help make this happen? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there are several concrete steps you can take. First, contact your senators. I know, you might think, my voice doesn't matter, but it absolutely does. Senate offices keep track of every call, email, and letter they receive. When they see hundreds of people from their state calling about the same issue, they pay attention. You don't need to write a long letter or give a speech. Simply say, I'm calling to ask the senator to support Social Security reform and the Social Security 2100 Act. That's it. Your voice counts. Second, stay informed. Things are moving quickly in Washington right now. I'll be following this story closely and updating you every step of the way. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss any updates. Third, talk to your friends and family. The more people who know about these proposals, the more pressure there is on Congress to act. Share this video with anyone you know who might be affected by Social Security changes. Let me give you a clear timeline of what to expect in the coming months. February 2025. Committee hearings are expected to begin. This is where senators will discuss the details of each proposal. March to May 2025, we should see revised versions of the bills, incorporating feedback from the hearings. June to July 2025. Floor votes in the Senate. This is when we'll know if these proposals have enough support to pass. August 2025. If passed, implementation would begin, with changes potentially taking effect for the September payments. I'll be covering each of these steps in detail, so make sure you're subscribed to stay updated. Hashtag Addressing Common Concerns. I know some of you might be thinking, how are we going to pay for all this? It's a fair question, and the senators have addressed this. The proposed funding comes from several sources. First, they want to lift the cap on Social Security taxes. Right now, people only pay Social Security taxes on their first $160,200 of income. The proposal would apply the tax to all income over $400,000 as well. Second, they're looking at extending the full retirement age gradually. And third, they want to include state and local government employees who aren't currently in the system. The Congressional Budget Office says these changes would not only fund the benefit increases, but also extend the life of the Social Security Trust Fund by about 75 years. These changes would affect different people in different ways, so let me break it down. Current retirees would see immediate benefits from the 2% increase and enhanced COLA adjustments. If you're already receiving Social Security, you wouldn't need to do anything. The increases would be automatic. People nearing retirement, ages 55-67, would benefit from the improved calculation methods. This could mean higher monthly payments when you do retire. Younger workers would see the long-term stability of the system secured, plus they'd eventually benefit from the enhanced benefits when they retire. Here's something important to understand. This isn't just about money. This is about dignity. This is about allowing seniors who work their entire lives to live with basic security and respect. Right now, we have seniors rationing medications, skipping meals, and living in fear of unexpected expenses. In the wealthiest country in the world, this isn't acceptable. These Senate discussions represent a real opportunity to change that, but they need to hear from us. They need to know that this matters to real people with real struggles. As we wrap up today, I want you to remember something important. Change is possible. Your voice matters, and together we can make a difference. The senators discussing these reforms aren't doing it in a vacuum. They're responding to stories like Margaret's. They're responding to calls and emails from constituents. They're responding to people like you who refuse to accept that seniors should have to choose between food and medicine. So here's what I want you to do right now. First, give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. It really helps other people find this important information. Second, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this story. Third, and most importantly, share this video. Send it to your family, your friends, anyone you know who might be affected by Social Security changes. The more people who know about these proposals, the better chance they have of becoming reality. And remember, I'm here with you every step of the way. I'll continue following this story and breaking down every development in language that makes sense. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, your voice matters. Use it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.